Wilson, I've got one more question for you. Data security. We're always talking compliance. We got to be complying with this. Got to comply with that. Can you tell me about a time when you supported an enterprise level customer with their compliance efforts?
Oh yeah, yeah. So enterprise customers are typically out of our range, but a lot of what happens is that reputation kind of precedes you, and people know who you are based off of the work that you've done. And I was actually called upon a large multinational organization with their DoD compliance efforts, and they said, "Hey, we have $170 million in defense contracting work, and we're a global business. We have a complex IT infrastructure, and we have four different business divisions that work independently with each other. How how can we show compliance to this?" And I spent 6 months, 6 months with this client, basically talking to all the stakeholders from four different businesses, from their global teams that were in Europe, talking to people in Asia, making sure that I understood how certain software and applications and systems work. And I provided them a plan of saying, okay, based off of reading all of your policies and procedures, this documentation is missing, and this is what you should focus on. These businesses have certain procedures that are not global procedures. So these businesses need to work on specific procedures to satisfy these controls. And I'm able to list out the controls. And then not only that, you have to be able to unify everybody and work in harmony to get things done. So using this huge enterprise and understanding all the stakeholders, it's really easy to say, okay, well, these are the requirements and this is how you're going to meet them. Have a good day. I take it upon myself to coach and completely understand the business operations to say, all right, I'm just going to spoon feed you here. And I know I'm going to tell you that there's a bigger piece coming, but we're not worried about that one yet. We're just going to spoon feed you this piece right now because this is the most important. And that's how I was able to get them on the road to success for their cybersecurity maturity model certification.
Awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that had to be a lot of work. I mean, tying that many divisions together and cultures across countries and all that. Piece of work, brother.
Yeah, it was interesting because you're trying to explain the importance of the U.S. government's definition of information that needs to be protected to somebody that's in Europe, right? And you're like, I don't care. You're like, why do I need to care about this? Right. So it's like, well, we have to care about this because and then you have to explain the story over and over and over again. It's just like, and this is why I'm going to need you to provide some kind of evidence, or at least, be able to talk to the assessor. So a lot of coaching. And
yeah,
then
people, I mean, my business, when I tried to run it uphill on my business, I mean, it's like those statements where it says, as this business, you shall, da, 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 da. And they were like, well, we're not doing that. I was like, bull stuff, you're not doing that. I was like, when these people come in and say, you shall, whatever comes after those words happens, period. And if it doesn't happen, you don't get your certificate. Mm-hmm. And there's not any argument about, well, I think that's overreach and I think that's not necessary. Doesn't matter.
Well, you don't have the contract.
That's what I said. I mean, that was the bottom line. They wanted to argue. I was like, do you want the contract or not? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then you shall A, B, C, and D.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
If you don't A, B, C, and D, if you do A, B, and C and not D, you don't get your certificate. And we have to wait another year for SG6 to get scheduled for our whole team to come back. So we don't get to operate for a year. So now what do you think about what you shall do?
and you're talking from maybe a pure, government perspective, right? When you're talking to a private company, a Fortune 500 company, and you're saying it's yes or no, right? And you better answer yes.
It's yes or no, and the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. If you want the business, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yes, and it's always interesting to be able to have those conversations with businesses to say, this is a compliance measure. Yes, it's going to be painful, but there are no exceptions here, especially when you're dealing with the government contracts. They are expecting you to have this in place. If you don't have this in place, you're not going to get your money.
Yeah.
Right. Or you're just not going to play ball. They're not going to play ball with you. And if you want to play ball, you got to play the game.
Wilson, thanks a lot for coming on and talking with us today. Enjoyed it.